What's up, guys? Happy Wednesday. Coming to you live from Denver, Colorado. It's a beautiful day over here. It's a legal state for the Barstool Sportsbook. So I went from Louisiana, putting in bets, hopping on a plane to dropping in and putting in more bets. And yesterday turned out to be a pretty profitable day. Thanks. Shout out Hank and his punch out parlay. I think he's going for his third one this week, maybe fourth one. Either way, if you haven't gone and done it, maybe go bet that parlay because it's been a winner. Speaking of winner, we have someone that's not here, so he wouldn't be the first place winner, not second place, maybe not even third because, Jack was here. So, yeah, Stephen Che, you're running late, but we'll forgive you. Just this one time. Besides, me blabbing my jaws. Kelly, how are we doing? How are we feeling? How are you? How has the NBA playoffs been treating you? How's Coco? How's your mom? Just
Coco's
give me the
great.
scoop.
She's over here snoring. If you guys hear any weird sounds, it's not me. It's her, per usual. She hangs out with me all day long, including sitting on the couch screaming at NBA players. Hey, look who's
What's up,
here.
guys? How we doing?
But Megan, it's been interesting because I laughed with our good friend Ariel Epstein the other day because she was making fun about certain people that just put out leans. So then I started just putting out leans because I was like, I don't love anything tonight. And of course, went 3-0. So that's how this works. I think I'm just going to reverse jinx it some way and just only put out leans from the Barstool Sportsbook for the rest of the playoffs. And maybe I'll catch fire instead of actually putting out official plays. All jokes aside, Stephen Che, how was the dozen?
Dozen was very, very fun. So we taped it last night. The first two matches are coming out tonight, and I think the final's coming out whatever the next day is. Is today Wednesday? Today's Wednesday, so Friday, I think.
Yeah, Megan, we really need to redeem ourselves. We got to get a new partner because Kelly Keegs, poor thing, hated us. But I really feel good. We got to get another dozen team together. Not during football season.
I have really, really bad test anxiety, about anything. For example, we went to a restaurant bar the other night, and it was trivia night. Obviously, it's just fun bar trivia. There was a $30 gift card. It was nothing to be worried about. And so the guy came over and asked us if we wanted to play, and immediately my heart just sunk to my stomach. And my husband, of course, turned around and was like, "Sure." So we signed up, and I have just one of the whole topics was the new season or the Better Call Saul, but because the new season was coming out, and I knew all of the answers, but my brain just wasn't letting me type, and I was physically sweating. I am just not good on the spot. I'm just not. So Steven, don't ever put me on your team. If there's anything, if you need me jump off of anything or stick my hand in something or be covered in bugs, I can do that part. But just don't ask me questions.
Are you going to eat bull testicles at the bar next time? Or whatever, bull penis? I almost died. All right, we got to talk about NBA because people are waiting.
Yes, we'll talk about NBA. Just so we're all on the same page, I just want to talk the 3 games that are today. Get through these real quick because I know we all have places to be and things to do, but we also want to get out some winners. Okay, first up tonight, you have the Nets and the Celtics. And the Celtics lead the series 1-0. What did you notice from game 1? What adjustments do the Nets need to make in order for them to tie up the series? Kelly, let's start with you and where you're leaning, and then or totals, whatever you're thinking, and then you can toss it over to Che, who 1 has been absolutely killing it, 2 has the what is it? Trust Big Brain or Big Brain?
Trusted data.
Big Brain.
Trusted data. My brain's not working. I can't think of anything on the spot, as I said. So Kelly, Nets, Celtics. Celtics are laying 3.5. This is game 2. Where are we going to put our money?
First of all, fuck the Celtics. What a choke job. Up 15. No, shout out to Kyrie Irving. He hung 39 on them. The buzzer beater is an interesting dynamic here. How do the Nets respond? The only way that they can is Durant has got to play better. He was almost non-existent in game 1. If they want to win a game in Boston, he's got to have a bigger impact. Bottom line. The Celtics, can I trust them? No, I do think the line's really interesting. Last one closed 4.5. This one's 3.5. We're even seeing threes. If it hits 3 at the Barstool Sportsbook, I might have to take the Celtics here. But I'm going to be super square. I'm going to take the over. And that's because I think we're going to see a lot of offense from both these guys. This first game was super physical. I think that means we're going to see a little bit less defense tonight, coupled with Kevin Durant having a better game. I like the over. And again, seems a little square, but I'll take it.
Okay, so Kelly's on the over. Steven, I know you like to bet on the star players. The cream rises to the top. But we talked about Kevin Durant. We talked about possibly avoiding him because we're not sure how he's going to play. So how are you playing the players prop within this game tonight?
So I was a total sucker last week. I came on the show and I said, you got to bet on the superstars, but be very careful with Kevin Durant props. I bet Kevin Durant points over, and it did not hit. I would, as I said last week, it's going to be really tough to predict who goes off. Kyrie, Irving, Kevin Durant. It's going to switch from game to game. I bet on his assist total, which seemed to be on the rise. The Celtics did a really good job trapping him whenever he got the ball. He was the center of attention, forced him to give it up early, which led to a lot of hockey assists, but those don't count as basketball assists. So he did not hit his over total in that. I think I teased it down to 5.5. He didn't even hit that. But overall, I think it's going to be tough to bet on either Kevin Durant or Kyrie as far as their individual props. What I do really like, though, from those two is Kyrie Irving 3-pointers. So he shoots it a ton. Last game, he had 10 attempts. He is also a really good 3-point shooter. You very rarely see a book. I think they maybe did it like once or twice for Donovan Mitchell earlier this year. Go to over under 4.5 threes. Kyrie is at 3.5 threes made. If he's taking 10 threes, I have confidence he's going to make 4. That's also at plus money. But my favorite play of the whole slate is in this game, and it's the newly crowned defensive player of the year. He's going to be jacked up. He's been home. He's going to receive the honor. It's Marcus Smart. His over-under point total is 14.5. Now, they played the Nets in the playoffs last year, 5-game series. And then obviously one game this series. But in 10 of his last 12 games, including those playoffs against the Nets, he hit 15 or more. So I think this is a pretty good, favorable line if you're betting the over. Another one I like that kind of coincides with that is Marcus Smart over 2.5 threes. He's not a great shooter. He shoots it in the mid 30%, but in the last 6 playoff games against the Nets, he's shot at least 8 threes in all of them. Again, I think we're going off of like he's going to be jacked up. He's getting the defensive player of the year where he's going to be at home. He shoots it better at home. He scores more at home. So I like Marcus Smart a lot tonight. I think that those are very achievable totals. But the reason I love his threes is over 2.5 threes is plus 145, which I think is silly because if he's shooting 8, percentages are saying he's going to hit 3. And he's jacked up tonight, and the value is there. It's not like a minus 113 on each side. So plus 145, I'm taking that all day.
All right, I might have to tell you on that, and you're going to put it under trust the data. Is it data or data? I was arguing. Alex and I were arguing about that. What do y'all say? Do y'all say data or data?
Trust the data. Trust the data.
Data. Yeah. I say data, but it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay. What about almond? Do you say almond or almond?
What? It's an almond. There's no almond. Stop it. Stop it. Next
Alex
game. We're not arguing about weird words.
Okay, Alex says almond. I just wanted to make sure. All right.
Well, he's country. He sounds like this when he talks.
Sometimes. All right. Phillies, Raptors. Phillies. 76ers, essentially the Phillies. But they lead the series 2-0, and it kind of seems like the Sixers have had the Raptors number. But then if you look back into the regular season, the Raptors were able to get a win at like 4 wins. So they beat them four times in the regular season. Did I get that right?
The Raptors have won them, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. This line seems a little weird. I feel like there's some value on the Raptors here with their backs kind of against the wall. With them, we know that they can get a win out of this team. But what are you looking at here, Kelly?
Megan, you nailed it situationally. You got to win a game, and you got to win the first game at home. You go down 3-0 in the NBA. It's basically all she wrote. My boy Jay Money put me on this morning, and I wasn't going to bet this game. I really didn't love anything. I kind of leaned towards the under, but I was just going to call this a straight stay-away game. Plus 1.5 is what the current line is for this Raptors team, right?
But
on the money line, they're plus 102. And then if you look at the halftime line, they're minus 120 on the money line in the first half. So not only are they a dog catching points, money line, they're basically dead even, but they're the favorite in the first quarter and the first half at the Barstool Sportsbook. So look at that here. And that is because I think that the bookmakers know if the sharp guys are going to come in on the Raptors, they're going to come on them early. The Raptors cannot do what they did last game. They've got to come in hot. Situationally, I do like the play. I feel like it is going to be the talking narrative of tonight. It's a must-win game, and I hate that. Like, you know, our friend Adam texted me this morning, oh, X team can't get swept. And I wrote, the fuck they can't. And that's exactly how I feel about this game is, of course, Philly can go up 3-0 very easily. They're definitely the better team. Shout out to Charles Barkley for mushing my Raptors future. It's dead in the water. They're not going to win this series. But do I think they can win tonight? I do. I like them in the first half. I'll take the plus 102 at the Barstool Sportsbook in the first half here.
All right, first half plus 102 for KIV. What about Stephen Che? What are you liking in this game?
This game has some interesting ones. One, I'm specifically monitoring. Scotty Barnes was listed as doubtful for this game. If he's out, OG Anunoby, the shooting guard, he averages something like, I think it's like 19 points a game if he's out of the lineup. His line right now is 18.5. He scored 26, I believe, last game. That's certainly one to take a look at. One that I rode with in game one that I got so much hate mail for at halftime after the first quarter was Joel Embiid under his combined points, rebounds, and assists. It was 49.5. In his last, he's played, I don't have the updated numbers of the line because it moved down 1. But when it was, he needed 50 to clear it at 49.5 against Nick Nurse teams as head coach. So against the Raptors in the past couple of years with Nick Nurse as the head coach, he'd had 50 combined points, rebounds, and assists only 2 out of 21 times and 0 out of 8 times in the playoffs. So that's 0 out of 9 times in the playoffs for sure now. But I need to see what it is with the adjusted line. I think he might have gotten 49 once. But even so, the numbers are very in your favor to go on the under in that. It is a very stressful bet, though. So it's like a strap, buckle in, because it's going to be a sweat to the fourth quarter. He had 19-3 after the first quarter the other night, but finished with, I think, 31-11. So that is where the numbers show you to play. I have a philosophy, and let me know if you guys do this differently. If I have data on a play, it either hits or does, more so if it hits, I do not play that the next game, especially in the playoff series, just because things regress to the mean and you're trying to find an advantage. But 2 in a row, like a lot of people are hitting me up today saying like the Embiid number is still really high. Like, are you going to play that? I kind of like the Raptors to win tonight, even though they're shorthanded. But I'm staying away from that a little bit. What do you guys think about that?
I mean, as I haven't watched much, I did play a little bit on the Raptors, though, just because I feel like they can get it done. As you said, they are a little bit shorthanded. But I feel like this is more of a situational play, and I am the public bettor, if you will. And I feel like there probably is going to be some public money on the Raptors, knowing that they have to get the job done. Yep. But that's just my take. I'm not putting it out. It's just a personal play. I take a lot of personal plays. Speaking of which, one that regresses to the mean, Coors Field unders. They're always inflated because balls fly out of Coors. Let me tell you, it hasn't been very windy here the last couple of days. And when 11 was the total was 11 yesterday, hit at 11, but they also went to 11.5. I hit it again. So the 11.5 I hit. The other one I did not. I hit the under again because it's 11. I'm just throwing some MLB in there real quick.
Two very useful nuggets on this game. Pascal Siakam plays way better at home. He averages 3.5 more points a game there. His line right now is 24.5. I kind of like that over, but I think it's going to be pretty close. His over-under total for assists is 5.5. I like him on that over a lot.
That matchup's going to be really interesting, Che, to see as well. I'm kind of curious how square this is, because I'm looking at ticket counts and it looks like the whole world's betting the Sixers, at least on my end. I don't have the exact numbers from the Barstool Sportsbook, but Megan mentioned the Raptors being square because of the narrative. I don't think that they're that square.
I'm happy with that. I had no idea. That was just my assumption with people watching the playoffs being like, oh, they're down 2 in the series. And as you said, if you're down, you're basically done, So I'm surprised that there's not more money coming in on the Raptors. I'm hoping some sharp money will come in later. If that does happen, just text me and let me know because it'll make me really happy. All right, on to this last game. You have the Bulls and the Bucks. The Bucks are laying 10. That seems like a whole fucking lot for a playoff game, and double digits seem nearly disrespectful. Kelly, being the Vegas, being the sharp, knowing a lot of reasoning for why lines are the way they are, or potentially why they could be the way they are. Are the Bucks really? Are their power rankings and should they be double-digit favorites over this Bulls team?
I got chastised for saying that I thought Milwaukee was the best team in the East on a show I did earlier. Everybody's like, what about the Celtics, the Miami Heat? And I'm like, nah, Milwaukee just does this thing, and they did it last year, and they did it the year before, where they just start off so painfully slow in the playoffs. I didn't want to take the Bulls the other night, and in fact, when they went down 9-0, and Big Cat tweeted, I feel like the Bulls are down 50, and I'm like, they are. They're already down 50. I was furious that I let my buddy talk me into that bet. And then Barstool Carl tweets, you can't win a playoff game if you don't make layups. It was like the most infuriating game, but they got the cover, and that's because it was too many points. And that's because this Bucks team you're going to pay a premium for it, right? I think that this Bucks team is a little overvalued here. I just found another data point, though, yesterday that I was like, my God, if I saw this on Monday, I would have not bet Chicago. They're 7-19 against their last 26 games as an underdog. If you watch this team at all, Megan, and I didn't watch a ton of NBA because college basketball, but in about end of December, mid-January, the Bulls peaked, right? They were kicking ass. Everybody was like, oh, the Bulls are going to win it all, blah, blah, blah. And then they started to crash and burn. I don't trust this Bulls team. I really don't think that they're that solid. I think the Bucks are easily going to take this series. I'm not laying a premium with Giannis and the Bucks. But I kind of lean towards the over here. I don't think I'm going to be getting involved. I'm going to see what Che has to say, but I can't really trust either team here. And this is just a Milwaukee team that I feel like they just like play super coy for like the first 2 or 3 playoff games, and then they just absolutely lay the hammer.
All right, Kelly leans towards the over. Jason Newman, I will be at the Rockies games. If you would like to meet me, that's where I will be. Steven, I need to hear what you think in this game. Why do you think that Milwaukee is deserving of being 10-point favorites? Yes, no, maybe so, and then give me some player props.
I'd say maybe so. I mean, Kelly's right. The infuriating team to bet on the Bulls. Their best player, DeMar DeRozan, is not a three-point shooter, so he's pretty limited. He's very good mid-range, but in the playoffs, you kind of need an extra dimension. I feel he is missing that. As far as, they were also up 5 points in the fourth quarter. But what I will say is that Giannis got into foul trouble in the fourth quarter, and Mike Budenholzer was very conservative with him. And he pulled him with, I think, 4 minutes left and put him back in. Kind of some very weird offense-defense substitutions, but definitely limited his minutes in the fourth quarter with the foul trouble. One prop that I really like, and it's one of the most consistent props out there, is Giannis rebound stats. It's high today. I was hoping it was going to be 12.5. It opened at 13.5, but it's at even money. He averages 13.5 against the Bulls in the regular season this year. He had 16 last game in somewhat limited minutes. I still think he gets 14 or more. He averages about a rebound and a half more per game at home, which is big. And just Chicago does not have anyone to match up with him on the board. Brook Lopez is not a contributor on the offensive or defensive glass, and he's taking care of Vucevic. And then Giannis is just so much bigger than everybody. It's crazy.
You nailed it. He was bullying them in the paint all game.
He's huge. There was a play, I tweeted it out, that he just got a pass from, I forget if it was Dante DiVincenzo or someone like that, and he just took one dribble and just dunked it over everyone with the left hand. People should not be able to do that to other NBA players, but he is just a different breed. So I really like his rebound total at even money. Of the props in this game, that is my favorite of them.
Che, I know you got to run, but one thing I wanted to ask you before you finish up, what are your thoughts on the zigzag theory in terms of when a team doesn't win or cover, then you bet them the next game. That's been something that's been really profitable in the NFL for years during the playoffs. But I'm starting to think it's kind of dead.
Yeah, I can buy into some of that. Like I did kind of like Atlanta the other night to play a lot better, not necessarily to win against Miami. But like, yeah, you really lay an egg and then lay an egg again at this level of competition, especially in the playoffs, because you obviously are in the playoffs for a reason. So some of it I can buy into. It's really a case by case basis, depending on team and matchup. Like I think the Bucks laid an egg the other night. So I think they're going to blow the doors off Chicago.
That's kind of what I'm wondering here, is if we see the Bucks playing at peak performance, because they did get a little scare, if you will, at home.
Yeah, absolutely. They won the game because of Brook Lopez. Brook Lopez is probably not going to play that well again tonight, or maybe even in this series, but they have other guys, Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton, guys that can play. So I would expect those guys to play better. And then Giannis is just the most consistent guy in the world, and he's going to get you, 30 and 12 every night. So he can do better too. So if he stays out of foul trouble, I expect his numbers to improve too, as well as the other guys. So I think 10 is not the worst line in the world for this game.
All right. Anything else that you want to add, Steven? Because as we both know, as we all three know, you do need to run.
Let me see. What I've been noticing, this is a really great feature that we have in the Barstool Sportsbook, is that they typically have waited till like maybe an hour, 2 hours before game time to put these out. But if you go in the player combo section, you can parlay things. We unfortunately don't have same game parlays right now within the Sportsbook, but you can pick like over points or double and teams to win. Something that can be advantageous, especially with like the Jazz Maverick series, where the Jazz are going to be favored in most games with Luka out or hurt. You can take like Rudy Gobert to not get a double or win, and that's a pretty good value wise in terms of exchange. Like something like it could be plus money, or like right around like minus 125. So those are things that are pretty interesting. That can certainly juice your odds either in a parlay or just good value straight up overall. So I would look into those things in the coming days. But yeah, the playoffs have been really good. I'm interested to see what Luka Doncic is like when he comes back, and I'm very interested to see what Jordan Poole and Stephen Curry's numbers are going to be tomorrow, because those are not out yet, and those are going to be fascinating, because those were both, I think, 20.5 last game, and they both shattered them.
Yeah, Megan, I know we're not going to discuss those games, but I'm with Che. I'm really curious to see Dallas currently already down to 6 in some spots if Luka does come back to play. And the line movement on Denver is going to be interesting as well. I think I might have plays on both those games, but I'm kind of just treading lightly. I like to see where the market goes, particularly in the NBA as well.
All right, so both Kelly and Che will have his plays out on, and hopefully you're following, Trust the Data. Did we decide it was data?
Yeah.
On the picks I gave last week, I believe I was 3-1. Good start.
Yeah, and yeah, you came on the show, you made some money, which is the whole point of Money Shots. We're literally taking shots with our money every single day. Kelly, Steven, thank you for joining us today. I'm going to go ahead, walk over here to the Rockies game, hopefully hit my under and a couple more bets. I hope that y'all hit everything that y'all are putting out today. And speaking of those, you can find Kelly's picks, obviously, at her page. And you can find Steven's over at Trust the Data. Again, I don't know. Apples, potatoes, whatever.
I think you just wanted to say data 6 more times in the show. I think you had like an over-under number bet with like Jack or something.
I should start doing that, just sneaking a word in, like meow, like multiple times. All right, y'all have an awesome Wednesday. Happy holidays. Enjoy yourself, Steven.
Happy holidays. Happy Megan's favorite holiday.
Enjoy. No, my favorite holiday is my birthday, which is Halloween. Love you guys. Y'all have a great Wednesday.